Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're going to be talking all about high velocity 22 long rifle ammunition. So I can definitely see the appeal from face value of shooting some high velocity ammunition for guys who are shooting ELR, or maybe guys who are even hunting who want more energy on target. But there are downsides to high velocity ammunition. There are a couple super obvious and a couple not so obvious, and we're going to talk about those today, and we are going to try our best to scientifically test this high velocity ammunition to see how much velocity it retains at a distance, if it's actually going to help you be more effective as far as it having less drop on a target at distance, and how much energy it actually carries over to a target. And for our test mule today, we have the CZ455. This is in the MDT-HCC, the Arken EP5. And what I've done off camera was I zeroed Eley Club, which is our kind of subsonic, normal, standard velocity ammunition, SK high velocity match, and some CCI small game. I put those on at 50, and I've kind of split the difference. They actually impact about the same exact spot, so that will be good for our test. But for right now, all we're going to do is we're going to shoot down towards our 150-yard berm, and from our on-screen chronograph here, you are going to see the velocity this ammo shoots. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at it at the muzzle, and then we're going to look at it at 100 yards out. I think that's kind of like max effective range of what most people will use this for, excluding ELR. But we're going to look and see how much more velocity the high velocity ammunition carries out there at distance. So first up, we're going to shoot 5 out of our Eley Club. All right, I said we were going to send this out at the 150-yard berm. I'm just going to hold over somewhere around 4 mils. Oh, I actually nicked the target, so 1,088. Pretty consistent. Okay, so 1,077 to 1,080, somewhere around there. But at 100 yards, we're looking at 946 feet per second. So let's remember that, 946 feet per second. And let's switch over to our CCI small game. So this is a flat nose bullet. It's not segmented. They do sell some subsonics that are segmented. And it is not a hollow point, but it is a small game load that is supposedly 1,235 feet per second. I'm going to hold over less out there. I'm going to hold 3 mils at 150. Let's see what velocities we get. Whoo! 1,270. It is a lot louder. 1,274. It's consistent. I'm holding about the same. 1,260, 1,272, and at 100 yards it is 1,003 feet per second. So we're starting out a lot higher, and we're about 50 feet per second faster. Let's go to the SK high velocity. Now, I don't think there is an advertised muzzle velocity on here, but I'm going to guess it's about the same. During my testing at the Zero, it was just as loud. There's one thing about high velocity ammunition, it's a lot more noise, that's for dang sure. All right, 150, we're gonna hold about the same, about 4 mils, and let's see what we get. So not quite as fast, 1190, 1160, all right, so it looks like at 100 yards we are 999, so very, very close actually to what we have. We have less initial muzzle velocity, but it's still very close to the same at 100 yards. So we're still looking at about a 50 feet per second difference out at 100 yards. And we'll review the data. I'll put that on the screen, what we're looking at. But on to the next portion of the test. All right, now on to the fun part. All we're gonna need is one single round of each. So first, our subsonic, again, these were zeroed at 50 yards. They basically had same point of aim, point of impact. You saw the velocity numbers. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna aim at the top of that plate. There is kind of a crater in it. I'll mark it on the downrange camera for you now. We're gonna aim there, and we're gonna see where the bullet lands on the plate. We're gonna see how much less drop a high velocity bullet has versus a standard velocity bullet, and this is at 100 yards. All right, aiming at the crater. All right, so that was 1.8 mils of drop, and you can see it down there on the plate. So if you were zeroed at 50 and shooting at an animal or something at 100, you can see how much you need to hold there. All right, this is the CCI small game. Wow, okay. Right there with it. That's pretty interesting. All right, SK high velocity match. So this should have a little better BC than the CCI, I'm guessing. I would wager to guess this shoots a little higher. Let's see. Yep. So of the three, the SK high velocity hit the highest. The CCI small game, which is the highest velocity ammunition, and the lowest velocity ammunition basically had almost identical point of aim, point of impact, which is really interesting. Really quickly, before we get to shooting the oranges, I want to talk about a big downside to high velocity ammunition, and that is just the speed itself. The problem is that in a low BC round like a .22 long rifle, the faster you push it, the more wind steerable it becomes. Now, I'm going to challenge you to test this for yourself and not just take some random YouTuber's word for it. I want you to take any ballistic calculator, whether it's a free one on an app, a Kestrel 5700 Elite, any actual ballistic calculator will work. Input a profile for a .22 long rifle and set the target out at 100 yards. Now add in a 5 mph crosswind that is at full value and set the muzzle velocity to somewhere around 1,080 feet per second. That would be kind of your match ammo. Now look at what the wind hold is going to tell you. It's probably going to tell you a couple tenths of wind hold. Now increase that muzzle velocity 100 feet per second. It is going to increase. Speed isn't always the best thing. It does increase a number of things, but most notably your wind steerability when you increase speed is going to go up. So if you're shooting in an area, hunting, shooting a match, and you're shooting out at distance and the wind is variable, you're gonna have a harder time staying on target with a faster .22 long rifle than you do a standard velocity .22 long rifle. Now let's get to shooting those oranges. Now for the fun part. We're gonna verify our point of aim, point of impact. We're gonna aim at the same spot. I've adjusted the scope now. Yeah, that's gonna be close enough for government work. So far left, standard velocity, orange. We were a little high, little left. Let's see what we do. All right, so yeah. It knocked it over. All right. CCI small game. We're gonna verify here. I'm gonna take a tenth or two off. We're gonna aim at our little spot on the plate. Yeah, pretty much in there. All right, we're going after the center orange here. Yeah, it knocked it around a little bit. And we're gonna take a little more off here, and now we are running the SK high velocity match. Let's check. Hair low, that's okay. Let's see what it does at the last orange. And there you have it.